Are you happy now? Are you happy now?
Destructoid.
What was that anime? Gorgeous animation to open with. This is Spot Dodge, a live Nintendo podcast where every single week we react to the latest Nintendo news and talk about the games we are playing. I'm once again here today with a beautiful cast of people, the regulars on the show. We got Greg Vargas, writer at PC Invasion and streamer over at Dynamite Giraffe. How you doing, Greg? Giraffe.
Well, I'm doing good, man.
Sweet. Then we have Mary Stowe, social media manager and host here at Destructoid. How are you, Mary?
I'm doing good. Hope y'all are well.
Doing pretty good. John Friscia, indie developer and senior editor over at The Escapist. I need to change that to managing editor because I keep saying senior editor.
Close
How are
enough.
you, John?
I'm happy to be here, my friend.
It's kind of funny asking you guys how you are, even though we've been talking
Yeah.
already for like 30 minutes.
I was
You call
literally
this
just
any-
gonna say that.
Can you call
But
this
here's where the
beautiful?
truth comes out.
And
Thanks.
lastly, we have the DILF of the podcast, the all-around cool guy and passionate gaming enthusiast, Brett.
King
Clark.
Daddy Dilf.
I love
King
it.
Daddy
I
Dilf.
love it.
How are you, Brett?
Yes. I'm gonna change all my social medias to King Daddy Dilf. I mean,
King
it just
Daddy
makes sense. now.
That's a
KD.
good
I mean, I see no problems.
Yeah, right.
Sounds good to me. This week, we have a handful of topics. Nothing too crazy. It's a little quiet. We already talked a whole bunch about Kirby last episode, so if you want to go listen to that, definitely check that out. We are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. The link, hopefully Eric has it in the description. Maybe not, but it will be after the show airs. I will put it in there myself. Actually, I can't. Eric will do it. Anyway, let's talk about some games. This week, we're going to talk a little bit about Chocobo GP. Has anyone played it except me? Probably just me, right?
I
Oh,
downloaded
Mary
the
played
Mary,
demo.
okay. I'm actually surprised that anyone else has.
Greg, you didn't
Doing
check
her
it out?
homework.
Yes, I did actually.
Okay, I had a
Oh,
feeling you were
alright.
going to.
You son of a bitch.
I had a feeling. So let's just jump into that first before I even give away the other topics, because there's not a whole lot going on this week in Nintendo Land. But Chocobo GP.
We were supposed to play it.
But you know,
thought you
broader
just
in
said
the industry,
download
there's
it.
stuff to talk about.
What? Just supposed to download it. That game is not good at all. It's really
That was
not.
amazing.
Like
That was amazing.
the
Ugh.
the
There's one
Like-
good thing about it.
what's a good thing about it, Mary?
Come on,
the
you couldn't
menu
couldn't
music.
sugarcoat it, Brett.
The music.
The music.
Yeah, I
That's the
mean,
only thing I had a problem with was the music.
No, okay, the menu music like comes
The
in,
menu
it's killer, and then you go into like KK bubblegum as soon as you leave that menu. It's really jarring how quickly it switches.
My biggest
just
thing was
so
like you load it
surprised.
up and it's like dun, 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 and I was like, am I in the right game?
Same.
This game, it's so strange to me because like visually, I think it looks pretty dang good for a Switch game. It's not on like the same bar as Mario Kart 8 or anything, but it still looks really visually pleasing for a kart racer. But
Agree.
I don't know what they're doing with the actual levels. They're so short, and there's nothing crazy really going on. Like they're so bland. Every single race I did, I doubt I did all the levels, but I did like 5 races, and all of them incredibly short and incredibly bland. What do you guys think?
I just don't know how a team got together and sat at a table and they're like, I've got an idea. We're going to do a Chocobo kart racer. And then everyone's like, dude, that's amazing. Let's do it.
Do
Like,
we
how
have
did
like
this
a more
idea even
popular
approve?
brand that we could call it? Maybe like Final Fantasy
mean,
Kart Racer, or
yeah,
should,
they
or should we
could've-
just do Chocobo instead? Okay, Chocobo.
Yeah, it's, I don't know.
John-
Nothing since
Well-
it was first revealed ever seems interesting to me. But
John, you're a big fan
Just-
of Final Fantasy. How do you feel about Chocobo GP, having not even played it?
Well, I mean, just for the sake of clarity, this actually is an IP of sorts. There was a game called Chocobo Racing on
That's
PlayStation
right.
1.
I totally forgot about
I
that one.
Yeah. So, well, I
that's
mean,
right.
this wasn't a wildly popular game to my knowledge, so I think you can all be forgiven. But it did release here.
when I think of Chocobo Racing, I think of like the mini game in the original Final Fantasy VII when you erase the Chocobos. You remember that?
Yeah.
I was muted, but yeah. I'm having a
Yeah.
loud noise on my end right now, and I'm not sure if the mic's picking it up, so I keep muting myself
Sometimes.
after I talk.
Mm, mm. Yeah, but wasn't that what spawned the whole Chocobo racing though? Was like that mini game?
Oh, I'm sure it is,
Probably,
but like the fact
yeah.
that they're in like carts now instead of just running, like I don't know, that's weird to me.
Now, I did notice that, like, with like the bundle and stuff, you can get access to like Cloud and someone else. Can't remember who, but this game is $50. That is
Yeah.
insane. This does
Highway
not seem like
robbery.
a $50 game to me. It seems like a free-to-play
Yeah.
game because there is like free-to-play elements in the game. Wait,
this
is it
exclusive to
100%
Nintendo,
free?
right?
I'm confused actually. Is
There's
the
like a
game
light version.
so
Yeah.
the light
Yeah.
version is the free-to-play version?
Yeah. But
And
like
it's-
I tried to do the main story and it stopped me after the the tutorial level. It was like, okay,
Yeah.
cool. Do you want to go buy the rest of it? And I was like,
Oh,
not
okay.
for $40. All you
Yeah,
have to
so
do
it
is
is-
tutorial.
Buy the rest of what?
Yeah. The story. Whatever it is. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
like
know.
I'm
For
punched
the
in the face and then being like, "Would you like to get punched in the face more for $40?"
I sure the
For
hell
$50.
would.
Or $50? Sorry.
Yeah,
It should have
50,
been 24.99 to unlock everything, or like I wouldn't say 19 because potentially visually, yeah, it does look, pretty nice, but like you said, the levels are short, and then they just cram so much stuff into those short levels. Like
There's so many
tur-
items.
I turn a corner and I'm like hitting a boost, then I'm hitting somebody's trail, then I'm hitting some thing that ports me from here to like 20 yards ahead, and then I'm turning
I
the
do
corner,
like
I'm
the
getting hit by
portals.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
to
think
a
the
certain
portals are
degree,
pretty
yes.
cool. Because I like that you can drop like a red portal and then it just takes someone back. Like it just completely like reverses them
Hmm.
like backwards like 10 yards or something like that. I like that. But I also noticed that like once you're in the back, I stood no chance of getting back to the front after I was in the back. Like
There's
it's
no
not like
purple
Mario
shell.
Kart and like if you're in the very like end, then you have a chance of making it to the front before like on the final lap or something like that. Like there's no chance you're gonna get to the front and one lap left. That's because the levels are so damn short. I really just don't understand what they were thinking with the size of these levels. They are tiny. They take like 30 seconds to get around the lap or less.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like what audience was this geared towards? Like hardcore Final Fantasy fans, or was it fans of, the first game or the franchise? Because like none of the design elements of the maps, of the characters, of the game mechanics, the play style, the like racing speed, none of them speak to me. They don't speak to any of those audiences. It's just like
Yeah,
a child's
agree.
game.
And maybe
Yeah,
that's what
definitely.
it is.
I mean-
Maybe that's what the intention was.
Yeah.
I mean,
Go ahead, John.
I mean, I picked up on some of the Final Fantasy elements early on because I used to cover the game a fair amount, so like I recognized a decent amount of things. Like I thought it was pretty awesome that I think Final Fantasy VI gets like its own like racing level. Was it Zozo, I think? It's like a town of vagrants, and like they decided to make that like a level, and I thought that was pretty cool. So like I think somebody like me, if I actually like sat down to play it, would probably appreciate the Final Fantasy references.
It's
Uh,
got like fan
that
service
being
in it,
said,
yeah.
though, like it definitely gets into some more obscure stuff. Like Eric just showed on the screen, there's like this girl with like pink hair. I could be wrong. I think she's from the mystery dungeon series, which is more like roguelikes, and I don't like roguelikes, so I haven't played any of that stuff, and any of those references are going to be lost on me. So like it's definitely getting into like the really niche stuff. Um, that being said, I'm honestly surprised that the game is $50. I hadn't actually realized it was $50, but the main
Let me
reason I'm
double check that.
surprised.
It's
No, it
50,
is.
yeah.
I just checked.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
I
then
just
yeah.
checked. Um,
That's
but
insane.
the reason I'm surprised actually is because there isn't a physical release, at least not yet. Like I think Asia, like Southeast Asia, I think is got a physical release, but we don't here, and that's just very unusual to see for a $50 game.
Yeah, definitely.
I just feel like there's a ton of other better kart racers for the Switch out there, other than this game, and I don't understand the appeal.
Honestly,
Other
dude,
than
like
Final
anytime
Fantasy.
Like anytime I play any kart racer, I immediately compare it to Mario Kart 8, which I think is like the
Mhm.
highest standard
The gold
that,
standard.
that Nintendo set, and
That's kind of unfair
it's
though
impossible
to,
to
to
pass.
compare it to that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, you have to meet or at least try to meet the Mario Kart standard, and this doesn't quite even like attempt to compete. Maybe I just need to play more of it. Maybe I'll get it when it's on sale. But
I think it's just
Yeah.
obvious it's a cash grab, like for
yeah,
microtransactions.
Yeah,
yeah.
But
and I heard
yeah,
they're very bad. Like the season pass, I heard like your things expire like rather quickly or something like that. John, didn't you cover that?
Hmm. No, I didn't cover that.
Oh, okay.
But
I thought maybe
see,
the Escapist.
this game's making me wish that I like cared about kart racing games because like I love Final
Yeah.
Fantasy. Obviously, it's literally just the kart racing part that I'm kind of on.
Yeah.
As we've
True.
discussed before, I have Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U. I never bought it for the Switch.
yeah, neither did I. I'm in the same
Greg,
boat.
remember you bought it for me. We've established this.
Oh, did I?
Yes.
Oh, you've never said that before.
Yeah, you said, "What do you want for your birthday?" I was like, "I kind of want Mario Kart 8," and then you sent me a $60 eShop card. I was like, "Hell yeah!"
Well, I'm a fucking nice guy.
Back whenever you were Mr. Moneybags.
There's probably like only one other kart racer that I would say, gets anywhere close to Mario Kart, and that's like the Sonic Racing
I was
series.
going to
I
say the
think,
Sonic Racing. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
especially
it's easily.
transformed.
Oh my god, that game is so much fun.
It's so good.
Love
Definitely.
that game.
I've been wanting
Wait,
to actually play through all of that game because I never actually did the full story campaign or whatever that has like all the races that you do. Um, so I might actually get to doing that.
do you guys remember the PlayStation? Sony tried to make like an exclusive kart racer. It was like Mod Racers or something. Do you guys
Yeah,
remember
Mod
that game?
Nation Racers.
Yeah.
Mod
Yeah.
Nation Racers.
I don't
Yeah.
remember that.
That I had fun with that for a minute, and they tried to make it like a more of like a social thing where there's like a hub where you go and like meet other racers and stuff like that.
Who
Yeah,
does
have
that?
a
I grew out of it pretty quickly.
I have a vague memory of downloading that on Vita and not. I think I could have sworn I got stuck on the main menu and I couldn't figure out how to race for like 2 minutes, and then I just gave up and I deleted the game and never played it again.
Deleted it. Yeah.
You're
Yeah, it
defeated
was
by
Good
the
old
fun.
start
college
menu.
try.
Yeah, I was defeated by the menu.
I never
But, yeah,
played that,
any-
but I remember it thinking it looked kind of fun because I think that was the game that let you make your own tracks and stuff.
Yeah,
That sounded appealing to
yeah.
me. Yeah.
It had
That's
like the
cool.
little big planet uphill where like you could make your own level and stuff like that, which
Mm.
that part of it was kind of cool. But I don't know, like the creating your own track and creating your own level stuff. To me, I don't know, man. I just don't have the patience to sit and do all that, so it doesn't appeal all that much.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Maybe a
and I
decade
believe
ago
this
though.
was
Yeah.
Mod Nation Racers. I believe like I don't know if it was the first one or if they made multiple ones, but I could have sworn around the same time Sony was releasing Mod Nation Racers and Little Big Planet Karting, which basically were like competitors
Mm.
with one another. They're publishing both games for some reason. And look, he already has it up on the screen right now. So yeah,
Dude, that's funny
There
because
you
you
go.
said Mod Nation Racers, Brett, and all I could picture in my head was Sackboy. Like I thought that was
Yeah.
the character in the
That was
game,
the
but it's
game.
not. There's
I mean,
another one.
they had a similar look, feel, like tone
everything
and
about it was
everything.
similar. Yeah.
Yeah, that was back when Sony used to do first party stuff other than third person action adventure games.
Third person sad dad games.
Sad dad games, angry father games.
Yeah. So yeah, Chocobo GP, I'd say it was a pretty big letdown for me because when it first got revealed, I was like, "Oh, visually this actually looks pretty good." Like I did not expect that, and I thought that it was going to be a normal game and not like basically a free to play game that still costs $50. Like I don't know what they're
Yeah.
thinking with this, but yeah, it's a pretty big letdown. But I'm curious how my kids are going to react to it. I don't think I've actually seen them turn it on yet, but I'll give you an update if they ever acknowledge it and play it.
Watch, they're
Cool.
gonna end up accidentally buying the $50 version, and you're gonna be
Dude, I've
stuck
been
with
there.
it.
I have password protection
Oh, yeah.
on everything.
Yep, you have to.
Yeah, it's happened to me so many times where like I'd have a PlayStation Plus game on the home screen of the PS4, but on the sign in menu they would choose like a different like login and then click on
Mm.
that game, and then if that account doesn't technically own the game, it'll immediately take you to the store, and then just 2 clicks away you can purchase that PlayStation Plus game, and then they bought like $50 games that I had to call Sony about. It's annoying.
There's one last thing though that I did want to say about the game. I was very surprised that they did have full voice acting in the story mode.
Yeah, that was surprising.
But did they bring back the original voice actor?
I don't know what.
If they didn't,
What?
I don't care.
They're probably
Why
all
did you open
dead.
up this can of worms again, Greg? Why did you do it?
Yeah.
Listen,
They're all
they
dead. That's why they
replaced
couldn't come
Cloud.
back.
They replaced Cloud in Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I'm still not over it. He had the same voice actor since like Crisis Core or something like that. Yeah, he was in that, and he was also in that PSP game. Which one was that called? Or was that Crisis Core?
That was Crisis Core.
That was
Okay,
Crisis
he was
Core,
he was
yeah.
also in the animated movie. He was in Smash. He was in everything, and then Final Fantasy VII Remake. What do you know? In Japan, they don't replace the voice actor, but here in America, we have to freshen things up and get a new guy in there for no reason who sounds the exact same.
At first, I really thought this was just a bit, but then it turns out he really did have a new rant to go
No, he
on.
really
I
did,
really
yeah.
am passionate about them replacing the whole cast. And the original trailer for Final Fantasy VII Remake,
Oh my
they
God.
had the old cast. Everyone in the first trailer was the old cast from all of the games after the original Final Fantasy VII. That didn't have voice acting, but everyone else, and then they replaced them all after that with freaking.
Do you just have a list of obscure rants that you want to go on? And you're just waiting for
That's
somebody to
why-
load the
No.
gun?
He has a list of times that companies have wronged him, and he's just reading down it.
True. It's true, man. This is why I need a podcast. Like, I literally need a podcast just to get out all this anger.
Let me tell you about March 1998. I was at Kmart. I was there to buy this brand new game. Guess who didn't have it? Kmart. Yeah.
And now they're dead. So they should be in the ground. Anyway,
How old were you in
Anyway.
'98?
98, I was 6.
That's a lot
Aw.
of math, dude. Come on.
You did
Yeah.
it pretty fast though. I probably couldn't even do that.
I might have to check your math on that.
Check
I
my
feel like he
math
just
on
threw
that.
out a number. He's like, I was 5.
No, if I was
I was
born in 92,
43.
I was obviously 6. There's nothing to debate. But yeah, anyway, that's it about Chocobo GP. I think we're all over it now. We're all never going to play it ever again. Anyway, let's talk about that Sonic 2 movie poster. Has everyone seen this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Talk about knowing your audience. Doing the
Yeah.
classic Robotnik hand on the 2. That actually brought back memories when I saw that because of how much I loved the second game, and I had that case in my room. So yeah, I just thought it was really cool, and I wanted to talk about it, and I wanted to get like your guys' input. Like, what's your hype level for this movie? I'll start with Mary.
I haven't even
Where's your
seen the,
PowerPoint?
I haven't
Oh.
seen the first one, so.
Oh, really?
Oh, you still haven't? Oh, you haven't seen the
Okay.
first one? Wow.
No,
okay.
and I have a group of friends that's trying to plan a movie night. So like we can all sit down. There's actually a few of us who haven't seen the first one, so we can like watch the first one and then go see the second one together. So my hype level's kind of low.
Mm.
Good. That's good though.
That's respectable.
Well, before I toss it to Greg, I do want to say, why did they have to bring in a famous voice actor to play Sonic the Hedgehog? Roger Craig Smith is a great Sonic. He was already in Pixar's Planes, the most popular Pixar film. He was the lead in that
Crash
movie.
and burn.
And I just thought, it's okay to bring over the video game voice actors and put them in movies. The same thing with the Lego Batman games. Like, why can't Troy Baker play Lego Batman in the movie? Why does it have to be that other guy from Arrested Development or whatever? But I will say, they brought back Tails' voice actress from the games
Yes.
in this movie, Colleen something or something like that. And I
O'Shaughnessy.
am really happy about that. So that's really cool. She gets to keep playing Tails in a freaking huge movie. So that's awesome. Now, Greg, what's your hype level?
Whew. Probably out of what? What's my scale? Over 9,000? Because it is.
Oh, it's over 9,000.
Oh, over 9,000, really?
I
Legitimately that excited though?
I love the first movie. I'm not even kidding. I've probably watched it like 15 times at this point.
Oh wow.
Like it's one
Wow.
of those movies that I like put on that I don't
It's
know,
like
like I've
Venom.
seen yeah, like Venom, Big Trouble in Little China, Spider-Man Homecoming. Those are movies I can like constantly just play in the background.
Comfort food.
Yeah, it's comfort
Mhm.
food. But then I end up watching it though.
Yeah.
And like I noticed little things. I thought the comedy in the first one was like dad pun quality comedy, and that was just like hit the
Ooh,
right
maybe I will
spot.
like it then.
Yeah, and
Right, you
I
haven't
thought it
seen it
was
either? Oh
I have
wow.
not.
Oh,
Wow.
visually well done. I thought it had a good, solid story for what it was. I'm glad they reworked Sonic,
Yeah.
but like there's so many things that just like the to like fan service moments, even in the trailer for the new one. I don't know. I'm just like it. It's probably the best like video game to film adaptation. I think I've like it just I guess within that genre, I would say it's probably the best video game to film adaptation. And like I don't know, I'm really excited for the second one. Like I remember I went to see the first one and I was like they had a like some memorabilia stuff and like posters you could take home from it. And I ended up getting one frame. Oh yeah, I got the first one framed. It's on my wall. And like I don't know, I'm really excited to see the second one.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I
So-
wouldn't say my hype level is over 9,000, but
Yeah, that's
it,
pretty crazy, Greg. Come
I
on.
did like the
yeah.
first movie.
It
Um,
is. I wouldn't lie to you guys.
and
Greg, like,
Knuckles.
were you like a Sonic fanboy when like it first came out, or not really?
Not really, because
Hmm.
we had a Super Nintendo in the house. But I always kind of just
Okay.
admired. Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
me too.
My mom's boyfriend had a Sega Genesis, so there was a brief period that's mostly what I played. And me and my sister played through all three of the first Sonic games.
Mm.
So I have great memories with the early games, and then later on, whenever Sonic came to GameCube, with Adventure Battle Adventure Battle 2, and then did Adventure DX come after Adventure Battle 2?
It was
Like
weird, yeah. There was
yeah, something like
Adventure
that.
2 Battle and then Adventure, yeah,
DX Director's Cut,
DX,
yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, those two games are awesome, but Sonic in general, I feel like fell off a lot in the video games, and I've been
Yeah. Oh yeah.
sort of finally catching up on a lot of them. Like I bought the one on Wii U that's about to expire forever on that console since the eShop's going down. And I
Lost
started
Sonic
World?
that.
Boom.
Sonic, no, the other one.
R.I.P.
Sonic. It was like the exclusive Wii U
Lost
game.
Lost
Lost
World?
World.
Yeah, Lost World.
That's not
Um,
exclusive. I have it
it's
on
on
PC.
PC as well, yeah. But that's the only two
Mm.
places, and PC sucks.
No
But
one
It's
anyways,
plays on
pretty.
PC,
let's
Greg.
What?
I'm just kidding, Greg. Don't just kidding. But yeah. So this movie, the first movie, really surprised me because I was like, the game sucked. The movie's gonna suck too. But it actually surprised me. I thought it was fun, and I'm excited for the second one. And Knuckles was always my favorite character. So I don't like his voice from what we heard. I don't like the accent.
Yeah, not a
I wish it
fan.
was
It's
normal.
Idris Elba.
I know I love him. I just wish he was doing an American accent because I do not like whatever accent that is. It just I'm not used to seeing Knuckles have that accent, and I feel like his normal voice would have been perfect for the character. But yeah,
I do have to say, even though I haven't seen the movie, and by all means, it's not because I don't care. Like eventually, I'm going to. And for having two kids, I definitely should have seen it by now. But I just love the redemption story from these movies because, like, when this movie was dead in the water, like when we
Yeah.
got the first glimpse at Sonic and it looked like a fucking creature from your nightmare, and like
your sleep paralysis monster.
most film creators, when fans gave pushback were like, this looks awful, would just be like, screw you guys. This is what it's going to be. We're going to release the movie. Either you like it or don't. But they listened to the fans. They went back. They redid it completely. Looks great, and it came out and it was a success. Like it's such a cool story. You don't hear that stuff happen very often, or pretty much ever. That filmmakers will go remake a character, and
Yeah.
like it's cool. I'm definitely gonna watch both of them for sure.
That's why I was
The
saying
only-
it's a good thing that Mary's expectations are low because I really genuinely think she'll like it because
I
it's
think she
too
will,
good
yeah.
of a movie.
I've heard nothing but positive things from like fans about it. I ignore like the critic scores usually on like video game movies. I'm like, okay, what do people who are like
Yeah.
fans of the game series think? And like all my friends who are Sonic
sure, yeah.
fans are like, this is amazing. It's so good.
Yeah, it's
When I hear that it's like the best video game movie ever, sometimes I take that with a grain of salt because the bar is so low for video game movies. I'm like, well, it doesn't take a lot, but I mean, still, I mean, that's pretty impressive that it kind of separates
There's like
itself from other video game
there's
movies.
Sonic and like Mortal Kombat and like that's
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah,
Like
I thought the Tomb
the
Raider movie
Pokemon
wasn't
was
that bad.
or the Pikachu one.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
Detective
was good.
Oh, yeah,
Pikachu.
Detective Pikachu was
Yeah.
pretty good.
It was
I
good.
almost fell asleep in the theater watching that.
Oh.
I also
To
thought
be fair, I was
Uncharted
probably pretty
good.
tired. I didn't see it.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah, Uncharted. I feel like that movie's probably doing well because most people who are going to see it probably don't even know what Uncharted is, and they just see Mark Wahlberg and Tom Holland. They're like, "Oh,
Tom
cool!
Holland.
It's
Yeah,
like a freaking what's his name? Indiana Jones style movie."
yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, now, does anyone have anything else to say about the Sonic 2 movie or poster before we move on?
Well, we did skip me completely. I'm just gonna throw that
Oh,
out
John,
there.
thoughts? I didn't notice. Sorry.
It's cool. Like I'd say my hype level is probably like a 6. Like I think the movie looks good and I'm gonna see it eventually. I'm just not sure if I'm willing to like go to the theater to watch it.
Yeah, I don't think I will either.
Yeah, like I can't even remember now. Like I can't remember anymore if I saw it in the theater or not. Like yeah, I straight up can't
You fell
remember.
asleep in that too.
I the only thing I'm certain of is that when I finally saw it, I was like, okay, yeah, this was fun. Like it had its heart in the right place, and like the instant you add humans to Sonic, like you know it could go wrong because usually the story is just here's a hedgehog, here's his mutant friend with 2 tails, he's a freak, and they go on adventures.
He's
And,
a freak. You had to add that.
but the Sonic's relationship with the human guy whose, name I don't even remember. Greg is probably the only person who has a chance of knowing that guy's
Nope.
name. Well,
I don't
point.
remember.
There you
I've
go.
watched it
That proves the
15
point.
times.
I've seen it that many times. I'm not
His
kidding.
name does not matter at all. But the point is, they had like a nice, like, sweet little relationship, like just kind of like a little like buds, like a very unlikely like buddy movie, really.
Mhm.
And I thought that worked pretty well. So I'm hoping the sequel can maintain like that same energy. I'm putting Tails back in is definitely going to change that dynamic though. And it certainly feels like in the trailer that there's more of Sonic with Tails than there is with like humans. So I think the movie could go either way, but so far I think it looks really fun.
Yeah, I think it looks fun too. And I didn't realize it was actually coming out as soon as it is. Have they said if it'll be on like Paramount Plus or anything in like 45 days or anything like that?
They might have. I haven't checked. Like
Oh, okay.
the window from theatrical to digital is getting like it's shrinking so much
I
that I'm
love
sure
it.
we won't be waiting too long.
I love it.
I like it and I
Yeah,
don't
same here.
at the same time.
Greg,
Why
I mean, Brett,
celebrities have been doing it for years. They've been getting all these free screenings, or just they're all hoity-toity societies and watching their blockbuster releases in their home movie theaters. Come on, the rest of us need it too. Us peasants out here need it too.
I didn't realize that famous people got movies early, Greg.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I used to download torrents early, so I guess I kind of used to
Terrible
do the same
quality
thing.
movie
They're
theater.
always awful quality, but I was watching that shit day one.
with the Chinese subtitles at the bottom.
Yeah, Chinese
Yeah.
subtitles and it's blurry.
People sneezing,
480p.
babies crying. Yeah,
Good
but
time.
I think we've all been there at one point in our lives on LimeWire trying to download
Yep.
something. But let's talk about
Brett, this is gonna crush you, but that's how I watched the Avengers. The very first time I watched it was
the very first Avengers.
At the very first Avengers, I watched a cam version.
Oh my god!
torrents, and I downloaded it and I watched it on like a little tiny TV. Brett's just gonna like roll over it in his
You're
sleep. Thinking about that tonight.
That sucks. I saw it in theaters. That was probably the first theater I ever went to that was cheering like audibly, like actually like a bunch of nerds in one room, like all like yelling and having fun. So
Love
that was like a brand new experience to me back then because a lot of people forget that 15 years ago, being a nerd was not cool, and there
No.
weren't people cheering in theaters
Sure as
over
hell
a
wasn't.
Sonic movie and shit like that.
I hated being a nerd as a
Yep.
kid.
So did
Honestly, like I
I.
loved all
I
this
used to
stuff
hide
and
it.
like
Same.
yeah.
I did too.
Yeah,
I would hide that I watched WWE and like played video games.
Oh, geez.
Oh man, no, WWF was cool, man. You had to hide that
Yeah.
where you
Eh,
live.
I mean,
R.I.P.
if you
Razor
can.
Ramon.
Oh man,
Yeah, right.
that's bad,
Pour one
dude.
out for
Oh my
Razor.
God.
Yeah,
Poor
so
guy.
tall, man.
That's actually heartbreaking, man.
Yeah, that is terrible. But no, dude, Brett, I remember in my elementary school, like it was like second grade or something, and there were kids doing like Stone Cold
Oh yeah, the
Suckets
suck
and stuff, or I mean Triple H Suckets.
Let's
Yeah,
get ready
like
to suck it.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. There was a
Brett,
group of
that's
people that were into it.
That's why I'm
Yeah.
confused. You hid liking wrestling because whenever I was a kid, like it was the shit back then. Like everyone was talking about wrestling. Like people were
I don't know,
slamming each
man.
other through tables and stuff. My brother used to break me through everything in the house.
Mankind was a
Maybe
hero.
it was just. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, Mankind is amazing. Maybe it was just my school, but there was like a small percentage of us that loved it, but then like the cool popular kids were like, "That's dumb," you know.
Yeah, you
So-
know it's
You could put
fake,
them
right?
through a table though.
It's
Yeah,
real.
you
to
know
me,
that shit's
damn it.
fake, right, bro?
Yeah, well, what the hell were they watching? Like, what did you find enjoyment in at that age? That
Beverly
was
Hills 90210.
like,
Yeah.
The nanny.
I'm watching football.
Okay, the nanny was awesome.
It
Let's not
was
mess
good.
around with the nanny.
No, I was actually serious. The nanny was good. Seinfeld. But
Yeah.
yeah, let's talk about the next topic, which is I wanted to do this as one of the main topics because I feel like, well, first off, there's a lot of people talking about it. It might help us out a little bit in the SEO department. But should Xbox copy Nintendo, who was also copied by PlayStation with their state of plays, and do a Nintendo Direct style event like every quarter because of all of the new games they have on Game Pass, whether it's an indie game, a day one game that's not necessarily exclusive, but day one on the service, and with all their first party studios, soon to be all the Activision studios, which is even more. I feel like they have so much that, I mean, more so than any other publisher, especially after the Activision stuff. They need a Nintendo Direct and not their terrible inside Xbox stuff, not their stupid Twitch partner stuff where they bring on people to talk about stuff that they don't actually care about, and you can just tell that they don't know what they're talking about when it comes to Xbox. I want an event like an Xbox Direct style thing where, I mean,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna go on a little rant. Like PlayStation,
Let me
This-
get your soapbox.
they straight up like the first state of play I ever saw. I honestly was so surprised just how similar it looked to a Nintendo Direct. Like the same little like panning to the side. The next thing. Let's talk about the next thing.
Yeah.
I was just
Yeah.
like, what? They like really just went all out. They just like, we don't care. Nintendo Directs work. We're gonna copy it and just do the exact same thing. And I kind of liked that they just were like, yeah, I mean, let's just copy it. Sort of like how they should have done with PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale. They should have just copied Smash Brothers and not tried to make it its own weird fighting game. But anyway, Xbox. I want them to do the same thing. Greg, let's hear your thoughts.
I don't think so. I
Wow.
don't want them to. Yeah, I feel like so many people, so many other companies have tried to perfect or improve upon or do the Nintendo Direct formula on their own terms, and I don't think there's really anybody out there, even with state of play, like even finding success in the games that they're revealing. I don't feel like nobody's or anyone's really taken that and done their own thing, and they're like, wow, that was great. Nintendo has never done something this good. But no, everybody just compares it back to the Nintendo Direct. And if they want to reach more people, I think you just need to figure out a new format, a better way to do these, not having, what was that one? It was like a live fan fest from like Mexico or
Xbox.
something.
Oh yeah, the Fan Fest. That was different. They've done like 3 or 4 different names for these shows.
Yeah, and they did, kind of a similar thing. I remember Crackdown 3 was like one of the games that they showed there, but I feel like
Solid game.
they have like, yeah, right. They have like too many chefs in the kitchen, number one, too much money trying to like throw money at this and make it good when Nintendo just has a digital presentation with trailers and somebody in front of a green screen. They need to figure out a better way that's not a direct to showcase their games and like you said, they have too many properties and too many developers now to not do something. But I don't think a
I mean,
Nintendo Direct like presentation is the
f-
answer.
the first, I mean, the main thing I was talking about wasn't necessarily that it was supposed to be a carbon copy of the Nintendo Direct. The main topic point that this was supposed to be was, should Xbox start doing anything? Because right now they only, well, they haven't done like an inside Xbox in a while. They haven't done a live show in a while. They did like the Series X reveal and stuff like that, and then maybe like another, and then they've just been at like the Game Awards and stuff. Like they don't have their own identity with their own like live show or streaming show like a direct. So the main thing I was saying was, should they do that? Because they're currently not doing that. Greg.
Sure.
He's like, start over.
Yeah. Can you repeat the question, please?
That's basically what I should have specified a little more, because it wasn't necessarily like whether or not they should copy a direct. It was like whether or not they should be doing this, because they have so many studios, so many games coming, and a lot of stuff flies under the radar. I feel like Xbox constantly has stuff coming out that they never talk about and they never market, and they're not good at marketing it. It's insane how
Yeah.
bad they are. Like
for all
for
Sorry, go ahead, Brett.
everything. Like, how has Xbox not ever tweeted out, hey, go play Fable 1. It's now in 4K 60 frames per second HDR on Series X. They've never tweeted that. How? Like, you
But
did
I feel like
something to a
their marketing.
classic. What?
I feel like to a certain degree that they have started doing more of that, like as of lately,
I've been
within the past couple of years.
I've been getting notifications for their tweets for the last 3 years, and I see a bunch of stuff that's pretty obviously known, but not a lot of stuff that's, hey, we did this. Red Dead Redemption 2, 4K, go play it on Series X. You can't do that on anything else. That game's not even on PC. We have the 4K version of Red Dead Redemption 1. I think I said 2 before.
Yeah.
And I just don't know why they're not talking about it. And it's not just that, but like games on Game Pass. Shredders comes out soon. It's like a sim-like snowboarding game. Looks awesome. It's on Game Pass day one. I think it's an exclusive only on Xbox, maybe PC, and it looks great. But they're not talking about it. They suck at talking about things, and it's
It's
kind
just
of
like
infuriating.
they need a platform, but like I was saying, like even to that degree, I don't think that a Nintendo Direct style platform is good for them. But I do agree they need to do something, but they need to find, something that they're good at themselves as a marketing department, and not just meme tweets and posting
my
memes
gosh.
on Instagram, even though they're really good
Dude.
at that, which is something Sonic has done within the past couple of years
Yeah.
too.
They
They're
like
better at,
innovated at Sonic. Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, they're better at marketing than they are at their video games they make, I would say.
Yeah.
And I don't know, the Xbox just like they rely on the Xbox name as a brand identity, whereas like PlayStation can do that, and they still have the same tag at the end of their trailers, PlayStation, and like Xbox doesn't have anything that says like, this is Xbox, I'm an Xbox fan, this is where I go. But
Yeah, I'm hoping that
Yeah.
in the years to come, they really start getting those icons that aren't Master Chief and the Gears guy who is. I mean, Gears isn't really what it used to be. You can't really say he's like an icon anymore. Phoenix, what's his name? Something Phoenix.
Marcus
do
Phoenix.
Yeah, Marcus Phoenix.
Marcus Phoenix. Yeah.
Like Gears is just sort of out of the door now, but I'm really hoping
The
with
PlayStation guy just answered that.
wait, what? You cut out for me, so I didn't hear it.
Oh, I said, how did
Moving
the
on.
PlayStation guy just answer that question? And like the Xbox fans are like, what's his name again?
exactly.
But yeah, so I think with all their upcoming games, like Senua, I think she could become like an Xbox icon, despite the first game being on everything. Or maybe like the Avowed, like default guy could be like there's a butt on the screen from a cat.
Those are
Sorry.
dog's butts. His tail is like way up in the air.
But yeah, I just think marketing all around for Xbox could be so much better, and pretty much every department, in Game Pass department, and backwards compatibility department, and like pretty much on all fronts, Xbox is not marketing what it's doing. And I think it's doing things great. It's like I've played my Xbox more since the Series X came out than I did in the entire lifespan of the Xbox One. That's because of Game Pass. Like I don't know, they're like it's almost like weird. Like I shouldn't care because I'm getting all the benefits of all this stuff. Like I love it. I'm having a great time, but it's almost like like I'm just like, why don't like other people care? Like I feel like everyone should be caring about this. Like this is an amazing deal. We're getting great games. We're getting like day one indies like Cyber Shadow on Game Pass. I love that game. And I played it because of Game Pass. And I don't know. I just feel like a lot of people are missing out, and Xbox isn't telling anyone about what it's doing, and it's just
Yeah,
strange.
what's weird about Xbox is like of all the great things they're doing right now, which is they're doing so many things right. Their marketing, they're just like it's a swing and a miss. Like even little things like, for example, older games getting like up-resed and an FPS boost. Like for example, both me and you went back and Brett, both me and you went back and played Dead Space 2 like a few months ago. And
Yeah.
I had no idea that playing it on Xbox was like the definitive way of playing that game. They gave it an FPS boost, they up-resed it. And had you not told me that, I would have had no idea that they did that. Like they don't tell people that
They
they're
just
doing
need-
these really cool things to these
Mhm.
older games. You know,
And
like
that's the
I
type
would
of
have
stuff.
no idea.
And that's the type of stuff that fanboys, for how annoying they are. If Xbox tweets out, you can play Dead Space at 120 frames per second, or whatever it is, only on Xbox as a console. Like the only console that can do this. Fanboys would latch onto that. It'll get so many retweets. It'll explode on Twitter. That's the type of marketing that they need. That's the types of things that a casual gamer will see and be like, "Oh, I can only do that on Xbox. I need one of those."
Right.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, like
Well,
obviously, like PC
this-
would be the definitive way to play that, but not everyone wants a
Sure.
PC. Greg, what were you gonna
But,
say,
but
Greg?
if we're talking
I was
about
gonna
just
say-
consoles, yeah.
Oh, this feral pack of dogs really likes this game. Maybe I should go and play it.
Now, Mary, you haven't talked much. So, what's your thoughts on all this?
No, I was gonna agree. I was gonna say like it's really weird how like you said the marketing because I wasn't interested in Game Pass at all. I was like, okay, cool. They have a backlog, like a backwards compatibility library that's apparently really expansive, but I was like, I don't feel like reading through everything that's on there. But then my friends were actually like, no, like there's this, and like you said, Fable, and like they're doing all these up-reses. I was like, oh, so I don't have to like dig out my old consoles, figure out how to hook them up, like, and I
Mhm.
finally got Game Pass, but because my friends convinced me to, not because Xbox like did any sort of marketing to be like, oh hey, by the way, did you know that like this really old game that you played years ago on 360, you can play it
Yeah.
on the Series X? Like,
Sonic Generations, native 4K with HDR and 60 FPS. But we're not going to tell anyone. It's
Yeah.
not a big deal. Like, come on.
yeah, and it's kind of a huge missed opportunity because like of course they're going to focus on like their big AAA titles. Like we know Halo, we know everything that's going to come out. But how are we going to fill our time until those games come out?
In
You
between
know?
those games,
Yeah.
Yeah, like people still have money to spend on like other games they might be looking forward to. And so this type of like direct-ish annual presentation would be like, hey, here's a small update on this game that's coming out next year, but here's what's coming out this year that you may have not known about, you know, to like keep you busy, make the time go by faster, sort of thing.
You know what
Yeah.
they need?
Mm.
They need like one of the like the Fortnite events, right? So like you go into Fortnite, you can watch a trailer for a movie or whatever, but they need like like a reason people should boot up their Xbox and watch the presentation from
Sea of
their
Thieves is
Xbox.
probably a good place to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and do
Yeah,
or
it's like a
even like
community
just from
website.
the dashboard. Like the dashboard to Xbox is so barren now from what it was like in
I
the
like it.
360 era. But I feel like if you did an event like that where you told everybody to go to their Xboxes and then everybody else could watch it online, but the people that are watching on Xbox get like
Oh,
some sort of like bonus or
they
skins or
have done
something.
that exact thing before. If you watched it
Really?
on Mixer,
Oh,
if you watch it on Xbox, they would send you a game. I can't remember what it was, but I remember it was like a pretty significant game that you got for free for watching it on Mixer.
A Burger King game.
Yeah.
yeah.
Eric, what game were you just playing in the background there? What game was that? Where that girl was running around with like the bow and arrow?
I don't know what Eric was doing. I'm not sure if people can hear Eric, but Eric is on the
Oh,
ones and
just some-
twos running the show. So thank you. Shout out to Eric.
Whoever that
just
was
always
amazing.
that-
Yeah.
I
Yes.
always forget to
Huh.
shout out Eric, who's doing
Secret
all the
to
heavy
Eric.
lifting.
Eric's the wizard.
Yes, Eric is the
here-
man.
Here's my quick thoughts on like Xbox doing like a direct or a state of play type show. I'm totally of two minds on this. Part of me that's like the nerd is like I want content as much as I can. I want to see previews for games as much as I can. Like I want something to look forward to all the time. However, the other part of me is like for every good state of play, there's 5 shitty ones. You know, and like
I
for
mean,
every good
probably
Nintendo
most of
Direct,
them
there's
have been.
yeah, like most state of plays are just like I could have gone the rest of my day without watching that and not noticed any, you know, not been the wiser. Um, and the other thing too is like there's something special about like saving up all these announcements for like the E3 type of shows because it gets you like so excited for that. And then once they, because it like Xbox stole the show this last E3, and part of that I think is because they didn't like show their hand throughout the year, and then all of a sudden they went in and like them and I think Nintendo were the only ones that had anything decent pretty much the entire E3 showcase.
Yeah,
And
it was
there's
terrible.
something special about that. There's something special about like, and maybe that's just like the old school gamer in me just wanting to see the E3 style presentations as opposed to the smaller ones.
The thing about that is I feel like because they're gonna have so many studios between Activision Blizzard and Bethesda and them, plus the
For sure.
Game Pass deals with the indie games, plus the Game Pass deals with like the actual bigger games, I feel like they would have room to do a quarterly Xbox Direct style thing and then still every year have an E3 show and show off the big guns, like save that stuff for the
Yeah.
big show.
Yeah,
But
for
yeah.
sure.
Back to the marketing though thing with Xbox. One more thing to rant about is that the Xbox store is pretty bad. Like
Here he goes.
you cannot. They don't have any selection, so you can like. I'm curious, how many Xbox 360 games are on here? I can't just see all the Xbox 360 games. I can't just see
Yeah.
all the original
Yeah.
Xbox games. I can't see which games have been 4K enhanced. I can't see which games have the FPS boost. That's ridiculous. How
Yeah,
is that
there's
not
no
in the
filter.
store? No filters at all.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah, and
ridiculous.
I think PlayStation is pretty guilty of that too. Like, there's no way for me. The other day I wanted to go back and see like indies or like a specific genre, and like I had no idea how to find just that specific kind of game. And that I wish both of these companies and probably Nintendo too would be able to
Yeah.
like put some kind of filter in there for you.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I
I don't think
remember-
Nintendo's very good about it either.
No.
Yeah,
No.
they all suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Xbox, I was sifting through the Game Pass games and I was looking for platformer, and I don't think that even exists on there. I think there's only like 6 or 7 buckets you can select.
There's like
Yeah, it's not a
puzzle,
lot.
shooter,
Yeah.
action adventure, stuff like
It's like,
that.
what is this, 95? God, man, update
Right.
this shit.
Yeah, and that's one area where I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but I always hear great things about the Steam store having tons of categories.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I
yes.
didn't hear you. Could you say that again?
And that's why I bought my Steam Deck so I could play these games.
Oh my god. I cannot
My
wait for that
console,
thing.
my Steam Deck, which is basically what it is.
I hate you.
Bob likes to call it a console. I mean, a PC. It's just a console. That's what makes it great.
I'm gonna drive to your house and beat you up, take your Steam Deck, and leave.
All right, fine. Don't take the Game Boy Micro you gave me, please.
Oh, you can have that.
But yeah,
So when it comes to Microsoft's like vast suite of developers that it owns now, like after today's news with the initiative, like I'm starting to really wonder what like Microsoft's like literal approach is to like all these studios that it owns. Like is it putting pressure on these studios to like produce a game? Like it kind of feels like they're not, and that's good for the developers, but like it also makes Microsoft look like kind of weak in a way that like they have all of these studios and
no
like
one's putting anything out.
3 or 4 of them are willing to talk about like one thing they're working
Yeah.
on. Like it's a very odd
yeah.
position to be in.
Yeah.
Didn't they purchase like 12 studios in like 2019 or 2020? But even before the Bethesda and before the Activision
It was- I know
acquisitions?
It,
Like
it was
it's
a lot all
stupid
at
amount.
once.
Yeah,
Like,
they did like the
crazy amount.
E3 thing where they like put them all up on
Yeah.
the board like one by one.
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome. That was when they got Playground and Ninja Theory and
Ninja Theory. Yep.
can't remember the other ones.
I cried over
Compulsion.
Ninja Theory.
Cried.
Yeah.
They
I loved
got,
Hellblade.
Double
Oh, yeah.
Fine they bought.
Oh
There's a
yeah.
whole big mix. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in the room that night and it was a great time. Greg, weren't you next to me?
I think I was feeding you Pringles.
Yes, you were. You were.
I
Could
think
that
we have a
be any
picture
more
somewhere.
random? I have a picture of Greg like biting into a Pringle, like right, like and Phil Spencer's in the background, like on stage.
No,
Just
and that was
sitting
the year the kid, the guy who plays Carl from The Walking Dead was in the row in front of us,
yeah,
and we were like, oh, is that Carl?
Coral,
That's why you have such a connection to Carl from Walking Dead.
dude.
And
I
we kept,
almost,
he kept looking back too, and we were just like, is that him?
Coral.
if he would have been wearing the hat, his
Oh,
dad's
Death Ring.
Can
hat,
you imagine
Rick's
if he
hat,
wore that?
that would have been.
Wasn't that the year Keanu Reeves came out on stage too for Cyberpunk, or was that the year
No,
after?
it was the year before that.
I was there that year, so yeah, it had to have been a different year.
Yeah,
Although
Gotcha.
seeing
That
Keanu
was
is
an
always a
awesome
good time.
moment.
yeah, that was an
Yeah.
awesome moment.
That was the second time I've seen Keanu Reeves from a distance in life.
What? What
From
was
a
the
The
first
first
time?
time it was at New York Comic Con for what was it? It might have been like John Wick 3 or something. I forget.
Mm.
Like whatever the movie was, I didn't even really care. Like I just wanted to see Keanu Reeves. Like
Yeah,
the Bill
dude.
and Ted movies are some of my favorite movies. Those are
Oh,
like the
yeah.
highest form of art.
My brain and my thoughts are weird. So whenever John Bernthal came out on stage at the Ubisoft show, I thought to myself, I met him 10 years ago, and now we're both right next to each other again. That's so weird and beautiful and poetic. Something
don't
like
like
that in my head was
I
going
don't
on.
Wait,
I don't
so
like
when
him
did you
at
meet
all.
John Bernthal the first time?
I met him in St. Louis when before he was the Punisher, but it was
Yeah.
right after he died in The Walking Dead.
Spoilers, come
Spoilers.
on, man.
Oh, dude, come on, man! I just started watching it.
Yeah, right.
But it's like we were
Who's
doing
second
cocaine at an after party.
Yeah, at a Motel 6.
Yeah.
And now this video will not be promoted in the algorithm because it reads the words we're saying.
Well, let me ask you guys this, which is kind of on topic anyway. Like, what do you guys think of Perfect Dark now that it like might be years away?
Yeah.
Well, actually, I guess I should back up real
Yeah.
quick. I should like preface it for the people listening what I'm talking about. So today, a report came out that like upwards of like half of the initiative, which is the core studio working on the Perfect Dark reboot for Microsoft, upwards of half of them have left the studio in just the last year. Like upwards of like
Damn.
34 people,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess they've hired like another dozen people already, which is nothing to sneeze at, but that still means that there's like 22 open positions, or
Yeah.
or give
Yeah.
or take. And I guess according to the reports, like the people, there was like this really like kind of rigid top-down hierarchy because the guys had come from like Crystal Dynamics and that's what they were used to there. And so like they brought in like these incredible talents from all these different studios, and then they found out that like they didn't really have creative control at this studio of like super talents, so they all just started leaving. And one of the guys who was like in control of the rigid hierarchy, he left last month too.
Good God.
So it's
Wow.
like,
Man.
yeah, so there's speculation among the people who left that at this point the game's probably like soft rebooting to an extent, just
Oh,
based on
yeah,
the
it's
fact
got-
that like the faces that are there have changed so much in
Yeah.
the past
Mhm.
year.
The
And
changing of the
also the
guard
fact
with
that-
all that talent.
Right. And there's also the fact that Crystal Dynamics itself, as of last year, became the co-developer of the game. So now it's like practically a Crystal Dynamics game, to an extent, at least in the first place.
Yeah.
So like it's a very weird shift. So like what are you guys like expecting from Perfect Dark after all of this?
Yeah.
So
It
first
could be
off-
in trouble.
I think like the initiative by now, if you would have told me like back when they announced the initiative, which was back when whenever they announced all the studios they purchased, like Compulsion and Ninja Theory, that's whenever they announced this studio, I would have thought by now their game would have been shown. Like they would have had a huge team of people. Crystal Dynamics would not be on like whatever their first game was. It would have just been this studio that Xbox was building, and that's not what happened at all. It seems like the initiative isn't really a studio. It's just a group of people who are in charge of Crystal Dynamics. That's what it seems like. I don't know if that's what the purpose was, like if that's what was always supposed to happen. They were supposed to get the super talented people in the door and then bring on a huge amount of people right after that. And maybe they're like, hey, instead of hiring everyone one by one, maybe we just bring on a team, like a full team, and just be in control of them. And that's what it sounds like you said happened, John. Like all these people came over, and then there was some probably stuff that like neither side liked. So now people are leaving.
Yeah, I think it like one way or another. I think it had to be something to that effect because I mean, like, if you're gonna make a triple A game, or in this case, a quadruple A game, because
No,
they hyped the
John,
initiative.
Okay, John,
What?
wait. I got one more rant for you, and then that's my
Oh
last
my
rant
god!
of the episode. Listen, one guy thought one day,
Logging off.
hey,
I'll be back.
one guy thought,
Yeah.
hey, we're looking for people here at this new studio. I'm going to make a little job posting. Just one guy, not Microsoft, just one little guy. And he was like, yeah, we're working on this. Oh, it's actually, I mean, it's going to be a pretty big budget. I'll just put quadruple A to be cheeky in this post. One job listing post has been the message of the initiative ever since it's existed. All because one guy decided to put quadruple A in the description of a job
I don't think so.
posting.
That had to go through so many levels of
No, dude,
quality
I
checks.
highly
They-
doubt it did, dude.
Yeah.
The managers were
It
like,
was one job
quadruple A. Well, I sign off. on
Now
that.
it's Microsoft's quadruple A studio is bringing us this mind-blowing game, and now they're bringing over Crystal Dynamics because they need help on their quadruple. It was one guy. I bet they regret that job posting so much, and that guy's probably fired or something, all because he put that.
Nobody's ever gonna let him live it down now.
Yeah, like
Ever.
remember Jim? He put that posting, and now everyone expects this to be amazing.
Yeah, he works at Atari now.
He was
Nah,
actually
I
my
bet it-
DoorDash guy last night.
Aw. Hey, don't knock
I bet it was-
DoorDash. Tip
I
your
love
I
dad.
bet it
DoorDash.
was all Phil Spencer.
Yeah.
I bet the guy at Tip typed it up and it was like AAA studio, and I bet Phil Spencer was in the background. He was like, nah,
Is that clapping?
add
like,
one
yeah.
more A. One more A.
One more.
One more. Let's go all out.
I think that's what happened.
You don't mean
Yeah.
the quadruple, eh?
We can't,
Oh, I
sir.
mean it.
We just can't
Yeah.
do it.
We just
Ludicrous
did.
speed.
It's like slow motion, one more A on the keyboard.
But I will say this though, that this is something that I did bring up before. It might have been when I was on Class versus Crass, but the one thing that I acknowledge that Microsoft would have a problem with is the human capital management of bringing on all these studios. I mean, you have an HR, regardless of their game developers, they're still a business. They still have HR people. They still have managers and project leads and all that stuff. But like, if you bring on these studios, you have to dedicate these HR people to manage the staff there. And I don't. Maybe that was. Did they already have the resources in place? Because to me, it seems like they didn't. Otherwise, these people wouldn't have left.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, to get back to what I was gonna say before quadruple A,
Sorry about that.
like no, it's fine. If the full size of the initiative studio is only like 60 some people, like obviously like that's like nowhere near enough people to make like a triple A sized game. So either one, they had plans to like massively ramp up later, which honestly that doesn't really sound like that was the case based off what we know now. Or it was a case of like, bring on somebody like Crystal Dynamics who's like kind of gonna like execute on the vision. Like, like it sounds like maybe the initiative really was like the creative wing that like creates like the skeleton of a game, creates like all the most important parts, and then like sort of hands it off to somebody like CD. Like that makes sense to me. And it just sounds like it's been a bumpier road like executing on that than they'd imagined.
Yeah.
But
One
I
more-
also do
sorry.
I do agree with Greg's point though that like like this is like there's the HR element, and then also just in general like there's crazy like project portfolio management going on here. Like there are so many different games from so many different developers on so many different schedules. Like I can't imagine how many people they have like just managing the portfolio. Like that's
Yeah.
such a bear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With this Perfect Dark report, or maybe it was another recent thing, I heard something that like Microsoft is being weirdly lenient when it comes to how fast these games are getting in production and getting finished. Like they're like, when it's
Yeah.
done,
That
it's
was this
done. Like
report.
I haven't heard of that before with any, unless you're like Rockstar. It's like, let's get this out faster, faster, faster.
Mhm.
Like you can't
Yeah.
take your time with this stuff. So it's crazy to hear that Microsoft is okay with that, considering that they're making these Game Pass deals and they're buying huge publishers and they're already funding all these games. Like that, they must be spending so much money on all of these publishers and developers. Like crazy. Mary, your hair is kind of like Joanna Dark's. Is that because you love Perfect Dark? And are you excited for this game?
I I have actually not played Perfect Dark, so
Oh,
Uh-oh.
I have
uh,
only played the 360 version, so
Me
don't
too,
be
Greg.
yeah.
too bad.
There's okay, but disclaimer, there's a
You've
lot of
only
games
played
I haven't
0?
played. So
That's okay. You guys have only played 0?
Yeah. I mean, I
Oh
think
man.
I turned on the other one because it was in the rare collection, but I
Mm.
just played it like a few minutes and then I switched to 0 just for no reason.
Uh,
Just I played
I
that one
own
a
it
little
on
more.
64, but it is awfully sluggish.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
I
now back
see.
then it was like phenomenal, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, back then it was ruled.
yeah.
Like on Nintendo 64, my 2 favorite games are Perfect Dark and WWF No
GoldenEye.
Mercy.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, dude,
Oh,
the
yes.
WWF No
Nice.
Mercy
Oh
was
my God.
that
No
was
Mercy's
so much
the
fun.
goat.
The
Like
wrestling
every
games on
single time,
N64. Amazing.
anytime anyone reviews the wrestling game, they're obligated to say this is not as good as WWF No Mercy. Like
What was
Destructoid ran their WWE game review today. I clicked their review and I immediately did Control F to see if WWF No Mercy is
Oh my
mentioned.
god.
I no. The punchline is I think she mentioned it in the first sentence.
That's
Ah.
So
good.
there you go.
nice.
I
It is
always
what was
literally
the
the
other-
only video game genre that everyone just agrees peaked like over about like over 20 years ago, and like everyone agrees. Like
Yeah,
there's like
I made a
no
tweet
dissent at
about
this
that.
point.
And nobody
Yeah.
disagreed, and the tweet did really well because I retweeted it with the Nintendo Enthusiast account. Everyone was like, "Yep, it
Yeah.
all peaked on 64."
what,
Yeah.
what was the other wrestling game? There was like WCW versus NWO.
WrestleMania 2000 was my
Yeah.
favorite one.
There was that one. There was on WCW NWO.
Versus
There was
NWO.
That one was
Yeah.
really
yeah.
good.
The second one was I think Revenge. I
Mhm.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like
There's some
that
good ones,
one.
man. That was
Yeah,
like the
yeah, for
golden era
sure.
for wrestling.
Yeah. That and No Mercy were made by the same devs, so they played like really similarly, and they were both spectacular.
Yep.
But-
And sports
but-
and football peaked with NFL Blitz on N64. So that's pretty cool.
Okay.
Dreamcast was
word
the
for
better
it.
version.
I never played the Dreamcast version.
But
And then
I kind
basketball
of segued
peaked
hard
with,
there.
on GameCube with Street Volume 2.
Street was
Oh,
amazing.
good to
They're
know.
bringing Street back, aren't they?
I don't know.
Or am I wrong? I thought I
don't
heard
know.
I
they're
think you're
bringing
just
Street
making
back.
things up, man.
You're always
I
making
could
things
be.
up.
I
Brett.
thought I heard
I
that.
mean, it's entirely possible that there's some sort of urban basketball game in the works. I mean,
Yeah, that's
I
true.
wouldn't put that past somebody. But
I'm surprised
but
that
yeah,
they
no.
just kind of let that die off. That was huge.
Dude, I
Street was
love
massive.
Volume 2. It's so good.
Yeah.
I used to play tons of basketball in real life because of this game. Like, I did all the stupid little tricks that they do, thinking I was cool. Anyway,
Prove it.
we have one more main topic, which was F-Zero X. Did anyone get around to playing it on Switch? Switch
I did.
finally has a game at 60 frames per second, and it's F-Zero X.
Oh wow. 60 frames.
I played it. I was actually playing it up until we went live today.
Oh,
Nice. I
nice.
played a little bit of it too.
Nice.
I thought maybe it was not running that great, but I don't remember it not running that great on the Wii U because Gavin plays it all the time, my son. And I feel like I was like having like some chugging on Switch. Did you notice anything, or was that in the original game?
I didn't notice anything. I thought it was pretty smooth, but like all I have is like a couple memories of like playing it at a friend's house on their N64 because I didn't have video games growing up.
Oh wow!
And so like I just had like these really vague like childhood memories. And I didn't even know what game it was for the longest time because everyone was like, "Oh, it was a racing game. It must have been Mario Kart." I was like, "No, it was not Mario Kart. It was some other race game." So, but it's a about what I remember it to be. I'm not as terrible as I thought I would be at it all these years later. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna like
Hey.
so I played on
Yeah.
easy though, but still.
Yeah, I mean, easy on these games is still hard. So
Yeah.
Yeah, they're so fast.
I did not remember. So on Switch, for some reason, and let me know if this if this is how it is for you too. Like, you know how you can use the top like trigger buttons to lean harder? Why is the left one ZL and the right one is just Z? I mean R or whatever. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh. No, hold on. What did I just discover? I have my Switch right here. I'm like, which button
my
was I
controller.
pressing?
I wonder if
Yeah,
it has to do with like the N64 controller mapping or something.
I
I
assume
think
so,
so.
but it was awkward as hell. Like
Yeah.
using the second
would
one on
annoy
one
me.
side and the first one
Yeah.
on the other.
I don't even know if I was using the
Hmm.
trigger or the bumpers. I think I was using like X or Y to do something.
I'm
Oh, maybe
surprised
those
this
two.
isn't a Brett Medlock rant. I can something I
let's
can
see.
see you ranting
Open
about.
that can
He's
of
like, no, why
worms.
the hell?
I mean, it does have online multiplayer that I haven't tried yet, but that would be cool. I love that they're bringing back some of these games with online multiplayer. Like that's the coolest thing.
Yeah.
They just haven't
That
done
is
it with
cool.
a game
Yeah,
I
it is.
really care about yet.
Yeah.
Oh wait, they did
Sure.
do it with Mario Kart 64, right? I guess I just
think
haven't played
so.
that yet. Yeah, I just don't have any friends. That's the problem.
Preach.
We all don't have any friends.
Yeah, I'll see you guys
Private
online.
show.
Yeah.
But yeah, my son plays this game all the time on his Wii U, so I see it all the time. But I've never actually sat down and played much of it myself. So it was fun. I played it today, and the controls are not what I thought they were. They're kind of strange compared to other like not modern, but like GX and Fast Racing Neo on Wii U that got renamed Fast RMX on Switch, right?
That sounds
But yeah,
great.
I've started to like games like this over the past few years, so I might play more of this one actually. Like maybe just get through all the races and call it a day. Consider that one of my beaten games of the year by just playing through all the races once.
There you go.
Yeah, I finished in second place. I was proud of myself. I got first in like I did like the beginner Grand Prix. I think it's the Jack Cup, I think is the first one. I got like first place like first three courses. Fourth course
Wow.
hit and I was like, oh no, something bad has happened. I'm not doing great anymore.
Yeah, I got third in the first race. I was like, dang, I'm pretty good at this. In the second race, I got dead last. I was like, oh, I just got lucky the first time. But yeah, not much to
Gotta
say
easy
about
through it.
not Fast RMX, F-Zero X, except I really wish they would bring this series back. Get the Fast RMX developer on this series. What are they doing? That game is great and it's beautiful. They obviously know what they're doing. Make them have a freaking give them the IP. Like, come on, Nintendo. It's obvious that they should do that. But
Who was the
also
developer on it?
I can't help but I don't remember, but I can't help but think this is one of them IPs that would actually be great if it came back as a TV show or movie, because it didn't have
Oh,
much
yeah.
story, but it had wacky characters that I think would translate really well to like an animated movie or like an animated TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Well,
some
I mean,
world building.
it'd be like Speed Racer, you know?
Yeah, that's exactly how I imagine. Like you're this up and comer, and then like these other people, like in between the races, they're all talking shit on you, and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna do this. I could just picture this like whole like animated story. Your father died, and he used to be a racer, and you're trying to win it for him.
And John Bernthal is the main character.
Yes, 12-year-old John.
And I
John
met him
Bernthal.
10 years ago, and we locked eyes.
We locked eyes. John
All I can
Bernthal.
think about when you bring that up is the new Twisted Metal show that's in like pre-production
yeah.
right now.
God,
Like,
that sounds awful.
I can't
Anthony Mackie.
decide if it sounds awful or if it sounds good, but it's
I'm
got like
excited.
Anthony Mackie.
I'm
It's got
Does
like
not make
Will
good
Arnett
movies?
in there, so there's some big names,
Anthony
and
Mackie's
it
cool.
almost I like Anthony Mackie. It almost sounds like the tone of it is they're not taking it seriously, which I'm happy to hear that, because if it was like a real dark and serious Twisted Metal, that would be really cheesy.
Mhm.
But I don't know how I feel about that. It could either be just awful or like surprisingly good.
I just have like kind of one big question. I imagine it's probably like a cedar, like woodsy kind of scent. But what does John Bernthal smell like?
That's definitely right.
It's
You
Old
are
Spice.
I
on
was
the
like,
money.
where is this question
You are
going?
on the money.
Old Spice.
Like Old
Like,
Spice.
A freshly cut pile of wood is what I imagine John Berthold smells like. In a fireplace, maybe like fresh steel that just got done being made in a
Wet
factory.
steel.
He's a
It's like a
man's
dream come
man.
true.
I've I wrote about this before actually on the Nintendo Enthusiast website that I think the Nintendo property that I think would actually translate really well to like TV that we never think about is Punch Out.
Yeah.
Like
could
I
see
think
that.
Punch Out would
Yeah.
be so much fun. Like at least like as like a cartoon. Like
Mhm.
you have
Yeah.
like such like a colorful set of characters already, and each
That's
episode
true,
can
yeah.
just be about like little Max, like he's training for the next big fight,
Mhm.
like this would be such an easy premise to adapt into like 30 to 200 episodes.
I
Like
feel like
I just
I've
think that'd
always
be really fun.
I've always wanted to write a story that involves like okay, so they give me a game. I've always imagined Rocket League for some
So
reason.
this is Brett's fan fiction rant.
This is my fan fiction.
Yes. Okay.
I just-
Hold on. Let me take some notes.
I
know,
want to
it's like,
write a
oh, yeah,
story that's in the Rocket League universe where you play as like an up and comer, and I already said this previously because I got it from the story. Whose dad was famous. He was known for being the best, but then he got like he died at one point or retired or something. So then you're put in these situations where you're thrust into this and you're trying as good as you can, and like all the characters around you, they're all like the very different and funny characters who are like talking shit on you, and you like have these conversations with them in between the matches that make you want to beat them in the match like so bad because they're all like assholes or very cocky, or like some of them might be really nice and you're like, I kind of want to let them win, but I have to beat it to continue the game. So yeah, I just envisioned this story mode in Rocket League that I would personally love to write that. So Psionics, if you're out there listening, let me write this story, please.
But like kind of to comment what John said and what you're saying too, like Nintendo leaned in very hard into like the animated stuff in the early 90s and then like has
Yeah.
since just like separated themselves from it. Like I mean, what was the last animated short or anything involving Nintendo characters?
Like all I can think of was that Kirby anime from like I don't know how many years ago now.
Yeah, and they do like these one-offs, like for like game promotion, like Smash had like all the CG trailers, but they also did like some for Star Fox Zero, where they had like some animated stuff with that, but it wasn't like a TV show or anything.
I
It
mean,
was
they would
animated?
rather
All
they
I
would
remember
rather
is the
open
puppets.
Nintendo World.
Yeah, Nintendo. I mean, Nintendo World's
Yeah,
coming to the U.S. finally. That's exciting. That's one
Nintendo
thing I
World.
forgot to
Yeah.
put on the list.
Yeah, coming to Hollywood
Oh, that
next year, I
I
think.
didn't know that.
Yeah,
I think so.
I think
Yeah,
so.
That
Universal
sounds
Yeah,
amazing.
Studios.
yeah.
I was just talking
Mary,
about
if you could,
taking the
I keep
wife
on
and the
throwing
kids on
Mary in here
vacation.
because
So
she's not talking much.
I'm sorry.
I
Yeah,
just keep
Mary.
trying to.
Shun Mary.
Now, Mary, if you could choose one Nintendo property to get a TV show or movie, what would it be?
Zelda.
Oh, that was fast.
Yeah.
yeah,
I
There you go.
saw
I mean that's a perfect answer too.
Yeah, well, I saw like a fan trailer, like fan made one of like Breath of the Wild and like the Studio Ghibli art style, and I
Yeah.
was like, it's
Oh,
perfect. Like it was just a quick little like opening intro sort of thing, and it was beautiful.
It really could be great.
Zelda, yeah, Zelda,
Yeah.
100%.
Like an
Just
Amazon Prime show or something that
Yeah.
could be
Well,
phenomenal.
and the
Actually,
Twilight Princess manga is actually really good. I've actually just bought a couple books of it finally, and that art style is already really, really good. And I was like, if they could just take the manga and turn it into an animation, like it'd be such like they'd make so much money off of it.
is
It'd
it
be
like an
so
official
good.
manga?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
what?
yeah,
I didn't know
it's
that.
like 9 books, I think. It's at like
Holy
9
shit.
volumes now. Yeah.
And it's the same duo of women manga creators
Mhm.
have been making these Zelda official Zelda mangas like for years. They've been doing like almost like each game, but
Yeah.
like not in chronological order.
I
Yeah,
just
like
learned something new.
yeah, there's like a
Yeah.
Majora's Mask one, an Ocarina of Time one, an Oracle
What?
one. So like they're I don't know, I can't remember how like canon some of the stories are, but like they're official Zelda manga. They're really
Awesome.
well done.
Now,
what I've
speaking of
heard.
Zelda anime, I have another rant for you guys. One more locked away, ready to come out.
One more.
I was hoping you
I
did,
always,
Brett.
I always hear people saying they can't do Link in live action or anime or anything like that. He doesn't talk. But guys, Link talks. He replies to people. You say things to people. You ask, like, words come up and you make options, like choice-based stuff in almost every Zelda. Link is talking. He just doesn't have a voice in the games aside from a character that actually doesn't talk is like the guy from the Metro series, where someone will literally be staring at you, talking to you, and they'll be like, "Hey, we're gonna go this way. Do you know which way you're going?" And the camera's just standing there looking at the guy. Your character says,
And he's like,
nothing.
"Sounds good. We'll
He's
meet
like,
you there."
Sounds good. We'll talk to you later. Something like that.
But the dumbest part of that, and I don't mean to interrupt your rant, is
Oh, go ahead.
in the menu on the pause, like in between levels, when you're loading the loading screen, he talks. He
Yeah,
like
but the
reads
whole
some
game-
thing from like his journal. He reads a page from his journal, but then in the game he has no voice. Like, what?
Dude, it's
Most
almost as
random
bad
thing.
as a Astral Chain. If you choose the
Oh my
girl,
God.
the boy talks. If you choose the boy, the girl talks. But your character
Yep.
literally doesn't say a word. That's a
Yep.
silent protagonist. Link
That drove
does
me nuts.
talk. He talks to people. I don't know.
Eric's got the right idea. They need to bring back the original voice actor from the '90s Zelda show. Sorry,
CI
princess.
Greg,
What is that guy
That
up
would
to?
rule.
That's what I'm wondering.
Merlin, who is that?
Merlin.
Did you
You know
guys
what
ever
could
watch
potentially
the
be,
video? Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
God, I know
Which one?
I
exactly
was
what
just
you're
gonna
gonna
ask.
say.
Okay.
It's so good.
Did you guys ever watch the video where they took the original Zelda cartoon and they dubbed over Beavis and Butthead voices?
Oh God.
It works
man.
so good.
That's
It's
It
amazing.
literally
is
insane.
hysterically funny, like hysterically funny. Like I'm not even a guy who watches Beavis and Butthead, but I think I was in tears laughing. It is so
That's
good.
awesome.
It
Yeah.
Oh my
literally
God.
seems like that's what the show was. Like that's how well
Yeah.
it worked.
Yeah. Like I endorse this to everyone who hears this. Like please go hunt it down and watch it. It is so good. It's
just
How
linked
does
it
someone
in the-
have how does someone have that much time to be
Awesome.
able to like match these
Who
things
thought
up
of that?
perfectly? Like
Yeah.
and or think of it, yeah.
Yeah. Like it's just brilliant. Like they
That's
made
awesome.
Link into like a total horn dog who's like constantly trying to score, and Zelda's
That's
dad
hilarious.
is like a complete moron too. Like it's art. It's just art.
Yeah. But yeah, that was my
You know,
final.
That reminds me of the meme where it has like Zelda as, or some female is like on all fours and she's like reaching for something, and
Well, where's this
Link is
going?
behind him. No, Link
Yeah,
is
that's
behind
Zelda.
her, and it's supposed to be like there's a like some piece of food on the ground, but he's like right behind her butt, and it says like press A for eat. So it's
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
He's
Yeah.
like right behind her butt. That's freaking funny.
Oh yeah, it's because like when the apples are on the ground and if you pick them up,
Yeah.
it says
Yeah.
It's supposed to be for the apples, but it's like right behind her ass. It's like eat.
Jesus
Is
Christ.
that in the manga?
Maybe.
One way to find out. You have
It's
to read it.
canon.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, that's
canon.
true.
That is true.
Where's
yeah.
like a side note? Where's like a legitimate source to buy the manga from? Because like I
I
searched for it,
Done.
a bunch of random ones came up.
I just go
I'm
to like
pre-
Barnes and Noble.
Yeah,
or
like they're
Amazon.
they should be, yeah, like all the major retailers, the book retailers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
I remember
is-
when
John. What were you
I was just gonna say they're at the Nintendo New York. So sometimes like I remember one time I bought some volumes for my nephew while I was there.
Mhm.
No,
Ooh,
okay,
it's
that's
on
awesome.
sale. Down from $219,
Wow.
$99.99. You can
Wow.
get the
I hope
volumes
that's
1
for the
through
whole
8.
series.
Yeah, say that's
volumes
like
1
a
through 8.
box set. It's a
Yeah.
pretty good deal.
That's cool. But yeah, this has been Spot Dodge. It's been a crazy episode talking about all sorts of stuff. Link does talk, just so everyone knows. He just doesn't have a voice. But there are characters that
Unless it's
literally
Beavis and
don't
Butthead.
He
talk.
talks in the CDI games.
Yeah, there we go. He talks in that.
Yeah.
But also in general, he
Brilliantly
says things.
animated CDI games.
They're works of art.
If you want to see a true silent protagonist, go play Metro, that series. It's so awkward that it is just worst idea, and I really hope the next one has a voice actor for that. He has a
Amazing
voice
games,
actor.
though.
I hope
Amazing
that
games.
that he talks. Yeah, amazing game. Everyone go play Metro. That's the final
Oh,
thing I want to say
phenomenal
on
games.
this on this episode. But yeah, Greg, if people want to know where to go to find you streaming or doing some other stuff, where can they go?
You can find me on PC Invasion. Jump back into it. I write news over there every so often. And the rest of my socials: Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at dynamite_giraffe. Um, I think I'm going to be probably streaming a little bit more Apex regularly on my Twitch, just because I met so many people playing the game and reached platinum level again. But yeah, all my socials and stuff you can find at dynamite_giraffe.
Awesome, John. Start thinking of a good sign off. Mary, if people want to go, if people want to find you, where can they go?
You can find me on the Destructoid show on Snapchat and on TikTok. And then
Cool.
also I am Mary Wants a Cookie on Twitter and Twitch.
Did you ever
Awesome.
find that cookie?
Always. I always have a stash somewhere.
She always finds it, and she
Oatmeal
still
raisin.
always wants one. Brett, King of the Dilfs. If people want to find you, where do they go?
Hey, I mean, I may change everything to King Daddy Duff, like I already said. So this,
King Daddy
Yes.
Make that your
No,
Switch name,
Twitter,
please.
yeah. Oh my God.
No,
that'd be
officially
awesome.
change your birth name to that.
That too. That might not fly with the wife, but I'll work on it.
Mr.
No,
Dilf.
Twitter, it should be on the screen, but for audio listeners, B_Lars24.
Awesome. John, if people want to find you, where do they go?
You can find me at change.org because I wrote a petition to ban Brett from ever giving another speech again.
Oh no! What is this show then? Like, what would be the point if I can't yell about things?
You can find me at my Twitter handle is my name, John Friscia, JohnFriscia. And yeah, I'm the managing editor at The Escapist, so you can find me writing a bunch of news stories. I'm also editing like 95% of the content that goes on the website. If you ever see an error, it wasn't me that looked at it.
Ooh.
And and I'm making my game Boss Saga. I put up a new blog post at the website today, so that website
Oh
is
yeah.
boss-saga.com.
It's on
Today
the
I
screen
talked
right now.
about like, well, thank you, awesome. Today I talked about like what like my approach to how do I make a boss fight in our video game where it's all about you playing as the boss to defeat the heroes, and hopefully one person will read it and that'll make me happy.
Hey,
Yeah,
Brett, did you find those screenshots?
that's what I was about to say.
I did. I did.
I was gonna say that because Eric went to the main menu of the website and there was pictures.
And they're right there.
Yeah, it was right there. Yeah. I don't know what the hell's wrong with me, and I wasn't even drinking or anything, so I don't know what was wrong.
It's all good. It's all
Disappointment.
good.
And if you want to find
I'm
me,
just
you
happy
can go.
to show up.
You can go follow me on Twitter at BrettNLL, and you can find this show right here on YouTube that you're watching or listening to. But also, if you want to check out the other episodes, please go over to Spotify or Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star review. We desperately need them. We need to get in that algorithm. Please, 5 stars for the show. That would be amazing. And also, you can find me over on the Destructoid Snapchat, where we're making a show that puts up 3 episodes a week. I'm putting my whole heart and soul into that show, so please go watch it. It's crazy. It's the most fun content I've ever made, probably, but it's also the hardest work I've ever done. So please go check that out. And Mary's in it as well. So yeah, it's fun. And that's it. This has been Spot Dodge. We will talk to you guys later. Goodbye.
So you guys,
See ya.
See ya.
5 stars.
Bye.
20 over 9,000.